Spring year 15 arrived without announcement, snow thinning on Valdorath rooftops, coalition banners drying in courtyards that had spent winter arguing tax schedules instead of war. Merchant House stone box holding heat better now that Calder had finally approved the upper floor brazier line, thus had requested twice. Kael 19. Seraphine 21. Partnership settled the way furniture settled in a room you had stopped rearranging, present in placement, absent in ceremony. Work continued. Maps continued. The faint red pin on demon territories had not deepened through winter. It had not vanished. The Koval packet came March 4th disguised as a Southern Spice lot manifest, 3 pages of commercial weights and route stamps, 4th page folded under wax that smelled of pepper and old ink. Kael decoded it at 6th hour before tea using the key Torrens correspondent had rotated January year 15, same trade documentation format, new substitution cipher in the margin tallies. Veth did not use fast routing unless the information exceeded routine priority. Fast routing meant the lot manifest arrived by secondary courier instead of the 14-day Southern freight cycle. 6 days saved. 6 days was enormous in demon political time. The translation sat in Veth's careful commercial hand beneath demon script. Kael had learned to read at the level of urgency rather than fluency. New emperor claimed Kareth throne. Not succession process. Not council vote. Not contest among lords. Figure appeared at Kareth Convergence Hall during private succession deliberations, 7 lords present, 3 senior, for observing. Figure demonstrated dominance over 3 demon lords simultaneously. Ash Domain Lord. Stone Domain Lord. Jade Domain Lord. All 3 restrained without visible technique. Duration under 4 breaths. No killing. No maiming. Absolute submission extracted. Position claimed by force. Traditional legitimacy absent. Demon territories in shock. Vethera submitted. Kael read the last line twice. Vethera submitted. The Ash Domain Lord who had accepted order intelligence for 3 years, who had launched incursions on false target descriptions, who had rejected peace faction opposition and moved first after Patient One's death submitted. Not after negotiation. Not after council review. Submitted. He placed the manifest on desk 3 and did not move for 11 seconds. 11 seconds was long for him. Long enough for the Sovereign Court to register the information as weight rather than warmth, not alarm, not recognition load. Outside the Intelligence Center window, Valdorath's morning traffic moved at the pace of people who believed reform hearings were the most dangerous thing in their district. They were wrong. Wrong was ordinary. Ordinary did not reduce urgency. Seraphine entered without knock, senior advisor privilege, reform brief underarm, tea from Calder arriving 2 steps behind her like a habit that had graduated from courtesy to infrastructure. She said, "Bad manifest?" He said, "Fast routing." She set tea down. She read the translation without asking permission. Permission was settled layer underneath work layer. Her hands stilled 2 seconds before she looked up. She said, 3 lords. He said, simultaneously. She said, Vethera. He said, submitted. Pause. She said, order tool. He said, yes. She said, not tool anymore. He said, not anymore. They did not dramatize the moment. Dramatization was for courts that wrote poetry after the map changed. Kael wrote to Veth through Koval return channel, encoded in duplicate lot weights on a grain shipment invoice. Calder's office would route south through Torrens correspondent within 48 hours. Received. Confirm Kareth location. Confirm 3 lords' identities. Confirm Vethera submission witnessed or reported. Request timeline from appearance to claim. Request peace faction status. Veth's answer arrived March 7th, slower routing, which meant Veth had needed verification before sending. Confirmed. Kareth Convergence Hall. Ash, Stone, Jade Lords, names attached in Demon script addendum. Vethera submission witnessed by 2 Keth domain observers at hall perimeter, not participants, not invited, present because Keth intelligence monitors succession instability as policy. Submission public within 6 hours. Peace faction documenting. Lord Keth requests human side assessment before council panic spreads across Seal. Assessment was code 4. Tell us what this means without making it worse. Kael appreciated Lord Keth's grammar. Panic spread faster than truth. Truth required sitting. Gareth's March visit came from infirmary wing on stairs. Thus had finally approved with cane and escort, core burned out permanent, mind sharp, body negotiating terms it had stopped winning 2 years ago. He read the manifest translation at map table. He said, patient 1 removed for this. Kael said, preparation. Gareth said, clearing mechanism. Kael said, yes. Gareth looked at Demon Territory's map. Faint red pins still faint, new notation needed. He said, not faint anymore. Kael placed second pin, deeper red, Gareth labeled, no crisis radius yet. Crisis radius required confirmation beyond 1 report. 1 report was enough to change the room. Gareth said, council. Kael said, not yet. Gareth said, Seraphine. Kael said, already read. Gareth nodded once. Economical loyalty aged well. He said, less red more blue was last visit. Kael said, more red 1 pin. Gareth said, preceding his job. Kael said, same job. Gareth said, good. Damien visited March 9th, gold steady, civilian liaison role formalized enough that Southern Recovery reports now arrived with his signature block instead of someone else's proxy. He read the translation because Kael did not hide operational packets from people who had earned the room. Damien said, 3 lords at once. Kael said, yes. Damien said, that's not a rank. Kael said, no. Damien looked at the map pin. He said, order wanted chaos. Kael said, they got structure. Damien was quiet. Quiet on Damien was thinking, not performing. He said, structure can be worse. Kael said, yes. Damien did not ask for more. Asking for more was vulnerability invoice he had learned to avoid unless necessary. Necessary was not this afternoon. He left vegetables complaint on Calder's desk as departure tax, chef improved, independent variable confirmed, morale intelligence filed. Kael spent March 10th on cross-reference, patient 1 assassination timeline, Bethera dominance attempts year 12 to 13, order Valdorath network dismantling year 14, frontier stirring notation December year 14. Pattern was not visible at single point magnification. Pattern emerged at distance. Distance required wall space. He cleared eastern map section thus had shielded for core discharge tests, shielding removable now that discharge frequency was managed, April year 14 evidence sufficient. On cleared wall he pinned, assassination date, southern assault windows, anchor breach sequence, IR mark manufacture timeline, crest gray proxy rotation, church restoration doctrinal restriction dates, Mar archive sealed chamber recovery March year 14. All of it had pointed toward institutional collapse on both sides of the seal. All of it had assumed collapse would remain collapse, fragmented, exploitable, clearing ground. Kareth was not collapse. Kareth was consolidation. Consolidation was different grammar. Seraphine returned at 9th hour with Noble Council pre-brief draft, not emergency session, preparatory language for Southern Intelligence Committee, bright line triggers held at joint oversight threshold per their March 2nd markup. She said, how fast does panic travel? He said, faster than grain invoices. She said, Lord Keth's request. He said, assessment first. Panic second. She said, Kaelin. He said, after assessment. She said, commission. He said, source protected annex. No VETH channel exposure. She accepted without argument. Argument would come when assessment became recommendation. Recommendation required more packets. March 11th Kael wrote assessment for internal coalition use, not council, not public, not church accessible. New demon emperor claimed Kareth by force. Non-traditional succession. Demonstrated dominance over 3 demon lords simultaneously. Demon territories in shock. Bethera, previously order-aligned operational node submitted. Preliminary conclusion. Order clearing mechanism on demon side has produced centralized authority rather than sustained fragmentation. Patient 1 removal likely timed for replacement, not vacancy. Threat level elevated. Crisis designation premature pending aura verification and identity intelligence. He did not write. This is what they wanted. He did not need to. The map had already changed. Night March 11th, he stood at upper floor window, merchant house courtyard, spring mud replacing snow, coalition banners moving in wind that smelled of thaw and coal smoke. Seraphine joined without ceremony, 2 people taking break between binders, half-inch proximity tolerance held. She said, "Structure worse than chaos?" He said, "For us. Maybe not for them." She said, "Order." He said, "Unknown which side of the seal they're smiling on." She said, "Bethera submitted." He said, "Yes." Long moment. She said, "We had her mapped as variable." He said, "Variables change." She said, "Maps update." He said, "Yes." She did not step back from window. Neither did he. Spring year 15 had brought new problems exactly as winter's closing summary predicted. New problems were still problems. Problems were still maps. Maps updated. He placed Kareth Pin in Master Ledger, red deepening 1 shade, not crisis red, work red advancing. Amber red core notation unchanged, awakening proceeding, not critical, 15 months managed. Partnership settled, unlabeled on map, present in window. Gareth's less red more blue now included 1 more red. Proceeding was job. Same job. He slept 4 hours. Distortion none. Victory ordinary. Ordinary trusted. Tomorrow required Veth's next packet. Tomorrow required identity. Tonight required accepting that faint red had become something else. Something else was not yet name. Name would come. Work continued. Veth's second packet on the new Emperor arrived March 18th, routed through standard Koval freight cycle, which meant verification had taken 11 days, and the information inside had been checked against 3 independent observers before Veth would attach translation. Kael decoded it from lot manifest margins at dawn, pepperweights, route stamps, substitution cipher in the 3rd column's fractional ounces. The translation was longer than the first report. Veth wrote like someone who understood that alarming intelligence required evidence, or it became rumor, and rumor killed channels. Emperor Aura signature analyzed by Keth domain practitioner, senior, not champion, specialized in post-combat residue reading and court-level verification. Method, observation at Kareth Hall perimeter during submission event, supplemented by residue samples collected from restraint points on 3 Lords' armor. Samples routed through Keth secure chain. Analysis complete March 14th. Signature wrong for demon origin. Structure consistent with human aura core architecture, rotational field pattern, human tier harmonic baseline, human developmental scarring in the deep layer. Corruption present. Hybridization present. Demon energy integrated at core boundary, not worn like external armor, merged at structural level. Conclusion. Human became demon emperor. Not possessed human. Not demon wearing human shape. Human core transformed and seated in emperor authority framework. Kael read human became demon emperor and set the manifest down carefully. Carefully was not fear. Carefully was the habit of a man who had learned that some sentences rearranged every map on the wall simultaneously. The sovereign core responded along his sternum, not warmth, not alarm. Attention. The quality of attention that preceded understanding without yet having vocabulary for it. He filed the core's response. He read the technical addendum Veth had included, Keth practitioner's notation translated into commercial hand, field patterns described in language meant for traders who also ran intelligence. Human core structure was not ambiguous. Demon cores built differently, denser harmonic stacking, different rotational axis, developmental scarring from demon tier advancement paths rather than human ceremony progression. The Emperor's signature carried human architecture with demon energy fused at the boundary layer. Fusion was not costume. Fusion was surgery at the level of what you were. Seraphine read the packet at 6th hour T, same table, same precision, softer register unchanged since April year 14. She said, human. He said, yes. She said, not possessed. He said, merged. She said, Demon Emperor Authority Framework accepts human core? He said, Force accepts it. Tradition may not. Tradition already failed, claim was not traditional. She said, order. Pause. She said, order founder texts. Immortal King references. He said, hold. Hold was not hide. Hold was discipline until diagram existed. She accepted hold without pushing. Pushing would come when diagram existed. Kael wrote to Veth, confirm practitioner credentials. Confirm sample chain. Request second independent analysis if available. Request any historical precedent in demon records for non-demon emperor. Request court reaction beyond shock, specifically whether any lord has challenged on origin grounds. Veth's reply March 22nd, fast routing again. Second analysis unavailable without court infiltration, not recommended. Practitioner credentials attached Ket Senior, 12 years residue specialization. Sample chain intact. Historical precedent, none in accessible Keth archives. Court reaction mixed, shock universal, challenge absent. Origin question not publicly raised. Lords who submitted appear to fear power more than legitimacy. Peace faction concern, human emperor may accelerate cross-seal operations. Lord Keth notes human-side order alignment hypothesis now elevated. Human-side order alignment hypothesis. Kael wrote the phrase in margin of master ledger. Elevated was correct word. Correct did not mean comfortable. Gareth read the packet March 23rd, infirmary cipher sent through Calder. Gareth's handwriting sharper on days pain was manageable and worse on days it was not. This was sharp day. Human became demon emperor. Gareth's response arrived hour later. I've been waiting for something like this since the King Aldrich letter. Didn't know shape. No timeline. Timeline was Gareth grammar. Gareth did not explain timeline in cipher. Explanation would come on stairs if it came at all. Kael pulled the King's letter copy from Commission Vault escort box, read Convergence cycle paragraph, read Sovereign manifestation paragraph, read approximately 300 years without flinching. 300 years connected things he had not yet earned the right to connect aloud. Aloud came later. Later required more wall space. He spent March 24th on archive cross-reference, Mars sealed chamber transliteration, Crest intelligence subset with corrupted lattice footnote, Order founding charter inquiry results Commissioner Vare had filed autumn year 13. Order of Eternal Stars, founding records pointed to incorporation approximately 300 years ago, pre-fragmentation administrative hand in duplicate index entries, name variants including stars that do not fall and Restoration Society. 300 years. Unified Continental Empire fell 300 years ago. Mars cover note on sealed chamber had estimated pre-fragmentation materials at 4 to 6 centuries, but fragmentation itself was documented at 300 years post-convergence by every kingdom calendar Kael trusted. Convergence cycle approximately 300 years, King's letter, 297 years since last event at time of writing, now 299 years if arithmetic held. Immortal King references in order adjacent text Seraphine's bright investigation had subpoenaed from church restricted commentary, not name, not title, phrase only, the king who did not die when the empire died. Phrase appeared twice in different copy chains. Twice was pattern beginning. Pattern beginning was not diagram. Diagram required sitting. Damien read the aura analysis summary March 25th, not full packet, sanitized version Kael prepared for coalition liaison circulation. Damien said, human? Kael said, yes. Damien said, that's impossible at Emperor tier. Kael said, impossible without transformation. Damien said, transformation like yours? Kael looked at him. Damien raised hands, surrender, not accusation. He said, not same. I know not same. But category rhymes. Category rhymes was more precise than most people managed. Kael said, rhyme isn't identity. Damien said, no. Damien said, but it means someone else figured out how to become something the system says shouldn't exist. Kael said, yes. Damien absorbed that. Absorption on Damien was quiet, the earned quiet of a man who had been told he was a hero and learned the label was someone else's tool. He said, order. Kael said, working hypothesis. Damien said, not confirmed. Kael said, not yet. Thus reviewed sanitized summary March 26th, medical flag, not operational clearance. She said, hybrid core at Emperor authority level. Your core is different architecture. He said, yes. She said, Interaction risk if you encounter this signature directly? He said, unknown. She said, define unknown. He said, no precedent. She said, watch it. Same 2 words she had sent when archive text accelerated core attention. Watch it was thus grammar for, I cannot approve what I cannot measure, so measure better. He said, yes. Night March 26th Kael updated Demon Territories map, Kareth pin red deepened second shade, annotation added in cipher, human core, demon merge, origin unknown, order hypothesis elevated. He did not write the name yet. Name required more packets than aura analysis. Name required face. Face had not arrived. What arrived instead was worse in a different direction, confirmation that the throne's occupant was not demon civilization's internal product. Not their monster. Someone else's. Someone who had spent long enough in the space between categories to sit on Kareth's demon emperor throne and hold 3 lords still without killing them. Long enough was the phrase that stayed. Long enough was not a rank. Long enough was time. Time connected to 300 years the way water connected to lowest ground. He stood at map wall until hour 20. Seraphine found him there. Not tea, not brief. Binder closed underarm like she had finished the part of the day that could be finished. She said, human. He said, yes. She said, centuries. He said, if hypothesis holds. She said, does it hold? Long moment. He said, leaning. She said, enough for diagram? He said, almost. She said, tomorrow. He said, tomorrow. She left binder on side table, not gift, not gesture, availability. Availability was settled layer. He worked until midnight. Midnight was not late for diagram days. Diagram days had their own calendar. Spring year 15 continued. Human emperor. Merged core. Order hypothesis elevated. Faint red pin now definite red. Definite was not crisis. Crisis required face. Face was coming. He could feel it the way the sovereign core felt pattern before vocabulary, attention without alarm, load without warmth. He slept 3 hours. Maps waited. Maps always waited. The face did not arrive in March. What arrived was description, March 29th, fast routing, Beth's translation appended to a silk invoice whose commodity codes Kael had stopped reading literally 6 months ago. Emperor has not shown face. Public appearances, 3 since Kareth claim. All 3, mask. Demon observers use name without official sanction, the Phantom. Not court title. Circulating name. Mask description consistent across observers. Featureless silver surface, no markings, no holes, no mouth opening visible. Should not permit sight. Emperor navigates rooms, selects speakers, identifies individuals at distance, sight functional despite mask geometry. Voice, measured, old, cadence of long command, pauses placed where a commander places pauses, not where a performer places them. Not demon vocal resonance. Not human youth register. Old. First public appearance statement translated. The fragmentation ends where I stand. Second appearance. Kareth is not a domain. Kareth is the center again. Third appearance. Silence. Mask turned. Lord spoke. Emperor did not. Kael read the Phantom and felt the dead man's knowledge shift in its compartment. Not surfacing. Not speaking. Aligning. Aligning was worse than surfacing. Surfacing he could refuse. Alignment happened while he filed maps. He read the description 3 times, once for content, once for inconsistency check, once for what Veth had not said. Veth had not said, fraud. Veth had not said, illusion only. Veth had not said, demon lord wearing theater. Veth had said, mask, sight, voice old, name circulating. Circulating names were demon intelligence grammar for we don't have official language yet because official language would make it real. Real was already real. Real simply had not reached the seal's northern side in full dress. Seraphine read the silk invoice translation at 6th hour, tea hot. Reform markup paused, pen capped. She said, Phantom. He said, circulating name. She said, not official. He said, official will follow fear. She said, mask. He said, silver. No holes. Sight anyway. She said, that's not craft. He said, no. She said, aura integration or construct. He said, or both. She said, voice. He said, old. Command cadence. Pause. She said, not a young human who merged yesterday. He said, no. She said, centuries. He said, leaning harder. Kael requested observer sketches through Koval channel. Deniable ask, routed as quality inspection complaint on mask commodity import standards. Absurd cover. Absurd covers worked because bureaucracies hated absurdity enough to process them quickly. Veth sent 2 charcoal reproductions April 2nd, not artist quality, observer quality, which was better for intelligence. The mask was smooth. Not polished smooth, absent smooth, like silver poured into a mold of nothing. No seam at jaw. No attachment visible at temples. It sat on the emperor's face the way weather sat on mountains, naturally, without explanation. One observer note appended in Veth's hand, looked at me. I was at back wall. Should not have been identifiable. Was identified. Identification at distance was sovereign tier perception grammar. Kael filed that without comment. Comment would come in diagram. Gareth saw the charcoal reproductions April 3rd, Stairs Day, Cane Day, Sharp Mind Day. He looked at the mask drawing longer than he looked at most intelligence. He said, I've seen armor like that. Kael said, where? Gareth said, archive. Prefragmentation plate catalog. Not mask, breastplate fragment. Same absent smooth. Scholar called it, unified era seamless casting. I was escort. Didn't read body text. Kael said, unified era. Gareth said, 300 years. Gareth did not say more. More would be speculation. Speculation was Kael's job in this room. Gareth's job was, I've seen this before, in old stone under old law. Old law was enough. Carvin Aldous sent formal note April 4th, archive firewall grammar unchanged except destination, now reform commission instead of obstruction. Fragment catalog entry located per your keyword request. Unified era metallurgical standard, Eastern Spire administrative provenance. Description matches your attached sketch surface quality. Original fragment remains category 3 custody. Copy attached. Tell me if you need transliteration of accompanying plate inscription. Kael sent, transliteration. Full column. Chain to commission vault. Aldous sent, understood. One word. Enough. Transliteration arrived April 5th, Mar duplicated chain, Aldous countersignature, reform vault notation. Inscription fragment, sovereign plate worn not as ornament but as containment. Containment. Kael wrote the word on diagram wall corner where blank space still waited. Containment of what? Containment for what? Diagram not yet drawn. Damien saw the mask sketch April 5th hour 14, visiting coalition liaison, vegetables complaint delivered, intelligence accidental. Damien said, no holes. Kael said, sight anyway. Damien said, that's horror. Kael said, yes. Damien said, not horror like battlefield. Kael said, no. Damien said, horror like someone chose to erase their face and kept the eyes. Kael looked at him. Damien shrugged, apology for accuracy, not performance. He said, sorry. Accurate anyway. Kael said, accurate is useful. Damien left before tea cooled. Damien had learned when to leave rooms. Learning was growth. Growth was evidence world not entirely awful. Calder brought word April 5th hour 16, Southern Freight Office had flagged duplicate lot manifest routing anomaly. Nothing hostile. Routine audit question from a clerk who cared about pepper weights more than politics. Kael answered audit question through legitimate commercial reply, corrected fractional ounces, restored ledger harmony, preserved channel cover. Channels died from neglect disguised as secrecy. Secrecy maintained through boring commerce lasted decades. Torrens' correspondent had taught him that before Veth ever sat in the Eastern meeting room. April 6th morning Seraphine delivered bright committee outcome. Southern intelligence pre-brief accepted without emergency escalation. Kareth noted as developing consolidation. Phantom listed as unverified designation. Human origin aura analysis restricted to reformatted annex. Vaulted annex was progress. Progress was not victory. Victory was not available. Available was Time to think before panic became policy. Policy panic was Crest's preferred weather. Crest still nurtured gray proxies at distance. Distance was not absence. Absence was not available. Same sentence, older now. April 6th Veth sent voice report, not recording. Demon Court had no recording craft. Observer transcription of third public appearance. Emperor spoke one sentence to Ash Domain delegation after Vethra's formal submission review. You served a purpose. The purpose changes. Serve the center or become geography. Veth's translation note. Cadence older than demon idiom allows. Idiom correct. Age and rhythm, not vocabulary. Serve the center or become geography. Kael wrote the sentence on index card and pinned it beside masked sketch. Geography was demon grammar for erased domain. Land without lord, land without name, land without memory permitted. Threat precise. Threat old. Threat not improvised by a new warlord testing phrasing. Seraphine, and he worked the voice report at 9th hour. Reform brief abandoned for the evening. Rare and justified. She said, geography. He said, erasure. She said, Vethra submitted to this. He said, yes. She said, order tool. He said, was. She said, now geography risk if she deviates. He said, yes. She said, phantom. He said, name fits. She said, founder fits better. Long moment. He said, tomorrow. She said, diagram. He said, yes. Neither said the name aloud. Aloud was for empty rooms. Empty rooms came after walls filled. Night April 6th Kael stood at Eastern Wall with mask sketch, voice card, unified era inscription copy, human aura analysis summary, Kareth claim timeline, patient 1 assassination date, order founding approximation. Convergence cycle notation from King's letter. Pieces without lines. Lines required honesty about what he already knew from a dead man's reading of a novel and 8 years of pretending that knowledge was inference. Inference had carried him to 19. Inference would not carry him through what came next. Next required diagram. Diagram required sitting. Sitting required clearing the room. He cleared the room. He started drawing lines. Spring year 15 night, Valdorath quiet. Merchant house stone holding spring cold. Coalition banners moving in dark. Phantom on demon side of seal. Human core. Old voice. Silver mask without eyes that saw anyway. Unified era containment plate grammar. 300 years repeated in every file he trusted. Diagram beginning. Name not yet spoken. Spoken came tomorrow. Tonight lines connected. Lines were enough. For tonight. April 7th dawn found the eastern wall occupied. Kael had slept 1 hour on desk edge, not collapse, not heroics, the specific sleep of a man who had drawn lines until his hand stopped and his mind refused to stop without him. The diagram covered shielded map section Thes had cleared for discharge tests, cork backing, red thread for demon political events, blue for human institutional events, amber for correlated dates, black for order confirmed operations. At center, a node labeled only C until he earned the ink. Convergence. First line, order founding. Commissioner Vare's supplemental inquiry, autumn year 13, incorporation records of Order of Eternal Stars traced to approximately year 0 post-fragmentation by Kingdom Calendar Convention, which meant 300 years ago by every text Mar trusted. Duplicate index fraud in Royal Archive masked pre-fragmentation chamber references, order redirect year 5 placed false entries over older materials. Older materials referenced Sovereign's Lattice, Eastern Spire administrative hand, maintenance language not myth. 300 years ago the unified Continental Empire fell. Fragmentation was not gradual in the texts, sudden, post-event, political collapse following field catastrophe. The catastrophe had a name in King's letter, convergence. Cycle approximately 300 years. Last convergence 297 years ago at letter writing, now 299, spring year 15. Arithmetic produced a number approximately 1 year from now if the cycle held. Approximately was the honest word. Honest was required on diagram walls. Second line, Immortal King. Church restricted commentary subpoenaed Bright Investigation Year 13, phrased the king, who did not die when the empire died, in 2 independent copy chains. Not name in those chains. Name in Demon Peace faction historical whisper Kael had carried since Veth's first long conversation Year 12, Valdorath the First. Human ruler. Unified empire. Choice of continuation after destruction. Phantom emperor. Human aura core. Demon merge, old voice. Mask, as containment not ornament. Human who should not exist at emperor power tier without centuries of development. Centuries available only if death failed to apply on schedule. Immortal king was not metaphor in order texts. Immortal king was job description misfiled as theology. Third line, clearing mechanism. Patient 1 assassinated order agent, 11-year embed, stabilizing force removed. Southern assault, anchor breaches, Ire mark manufacture, succession crisis, hero corruption, crest gray proxies, church restoration doctrine, all clearing. Clearing assumed vacancy. Vacancy assumed fragmentation. Fragmentation on demon side produced Kareth consolidation, instead Phantom claimed throne by force, 3 lords restrained, Vethera submitted. Clearing did not fail. Clearing succeeded at wrong target from Kael's perspective, or succeeded at right target from order perspective. Order perspective was founder perspective if hypothesis held. Founder perspective was diagram center connecting to node C. Fourth line, sovereign core. Archive scroll. Lattice appears once per century or 2. Last confirmed wielder sovereign of Eastern Spire. Instrumental after first convergence in continental resonance anchoring. King's letter. Core grows through understanding. Convergence threatens field coherence. Bearer appears when need is immediate. Kael's core. Awakening phase amber red. Managed 15 months. Spatial slips logged. Discharge shielded. Not critical threshold. 2 responses to same catastrophe type separated by 300 years. Anchor through integration versus reset through elimination. Opposite grammar. Same origin era. He drew the lines until hour 10. Red thread from patient 1 death to Kareth claim. Black thread from order founding to church restoration to demon court in bed to Valdorath network dismantling. Dismantling was human side clearing completing, not order dying. Blue thread from fragmentation to kingdom proliferation to reform era to Kael accountability. Proliferation was problem in founder logic if Mars maintenance manual tone was accurate. Amber thread from first convergence to sovereign of Eastern Spire to sealed archive chamber to Kael's ribs. All threads touched node C. He labeled node, convergence 300 years cycle. Next, year 16 if arithmetic holds. Then he sat. Sitting was the part that cost. Standing and drawing allowed motion to pretend as work. Sitting required admitting the lines were not speculation anymore. They were structure. Structure pointed one direction with the boring inevitability of water finding lowest ground. Order founded 300 years ago. Empire fell 300 years ago. Convergence cyclical 300 years. Immortal king in texts. Phantom human with centuries tier power and unified era containment grammar. Valdorath name in demon historical whisper and dead man's novel memory and Veth's careful pause when Kael said it aloud year 12. Not coincidence. Coincidence was for brokers predicting tax schedules. This was architecture. Seraphine entered hour 11, knock absent, privilege present, T absent because diagram days did not get T first. She looked at wall. She did not speak for 40 seconds. 40 seconds was long for her. She said, center. He said, convergence. She said, all lines. He said, yes. She said, order founder. He said, hypothesis. She said, not hypothesis. He looked at her. She said, you wouldn't have sat if it were hypothesis. True was inconvenient. Inconvenient was still true. He said, Valdorath. First time allowed in this room. Name did not echo. Names did not echo in stone boxes. They landed. She said, Phantom. He said, yes. She said, 300 years. He said, yes. She said, council. He said, not this wall. She said, us. He said, yes. Us word quiet. Settled word. Not naming. Not 3 words from anywhere. Settled sufficient. Gareth arrived hour 14 via cipher request. Not stairs, not visit, written question only. Diagram done? Kael sent reproduction sketch through Calder, not full wall, compressed notation. Gareth reply, I've been guarding the wrong child for the wrong century. Guarding anyway. Proceed. Guardian grammar unchanged. Century grammar new. Kael filed Gareth's sentence without crying. Crying was not map work. Map work continued. He cleared the room at hour 16, Seraphine to reform hearing, Damien to southern liaison route, Calder on corridor, Thess on medical rounds, intelligence center upper floor empty except maps and lamp and one chair he had not used enough lately. He sat. He looked at diagram. He looked at node where red and black and blue and amber threads crossed. He said, quietly, to empty room. You're the founder. You've been here the whole time. No drama answered. Drama was for courts. Empty room answered with lamp hiss and spring wind at shutter edge and the sovereign core's quiet attention along his sternum. Not warmth, not warning. Recognition arriving late with vocabulary finally attached. Recognition was not alliance. Recognition was diagnosis. Diagnosis was beginning of strategy. Strategy would take weeks. Tonight was one sentence in empty room. One sentence enough. Hour 18, he did not erase diagram. Erasure was for errors. This was not error. He covered diagram with linen sheet coalition forum tomorrow. Gallery sightline risk. Secrecy temporary, not shame. Temporary secrecy was discipline. He photographed diagram through MAR process before covering Reform Commission vault chain. Aldous witness available if required. Photograph first. Cover second. Order correct. He wrote Seraphine note. Read sitting. Vault copy. Not counsel. She sent back, evening cleared. Evening cleared was grammar he trusted. Lyra sent letter April 7th, Eastern Barony copy stack recovered from spatial slip incident. Disaster sergeant title now official in Calder's filing joke turned real. Question at bottom. Should I worry about demon names or is that your box problem? He sent back, box problem. Proceed with copies. Proceed traveled well between people who understood work. Work was network. Network was not map. Network fed map. Night April 7th he stood at window without diagram visible behind him. Valdorath spring dark. Merchant house stone. 19. 300 years of someone else's patience ending where arithmetic said it ended. Phantom on Kara throne. Founder in order records. Same person if lines held. Lines held. Holding was not winning. Holding was knowing what game board was. Game board was continent. Game clock was convergence. Game opponent was man who chose mask over face and geography over descent. Kael did not dramatize. Dramatization was for people who had not spent 8 years making maps. He slept 2 hours. Diagram waited under linen. Waiting was fine. Waiting was not forgetting. Tomorrow, goal reconstruction. Tomorrow required archive, demon records, dead man's memory cross-checked against living evidence. Tonight, one sentence spoken. Spoken could not be unspoken. Unspoken had carried him to 19. Spoken would carry him forward. Forward was job. Same job. Proceed. Goal reconstruction required sources Kael distrusted in combination. Dead man's novel memory. Demon peace faction whisper. Archive pre-fragmentation manual. Order founding fraud. Veth's clinical translations. King's letter arithmetic. Single source was rumor. 2 sources was pattern. 5 sources was obligation to act as if true until disproven. Disproven was not happening. Disproven had stopped being available around April 7th hour 16. April 8th through April 12th he rebuilt Valdorath's history on paper, not myth, operational reconstruction, the way he rebuilt battles from partial scout reports. First convergence hit unified continental empire, field fracture, casting destabilization, political collapse cascading from center outward. Valdorath survived. Survival was not luck in the records, survival was choice documented in demon historical fragments Veth had sent over 2 years, in archive maintenance tone. In church restoration language that treated return to proper ordering as literal event rather than metaphor. Valdorath's error in his own framework, political unity under one flag insufficient against convergence pressure. Empire unified administratively. Aura field unified insufficiently, regional expressions divergent, defensive structure fragmented at spiritual layer though coherent at map layer. First convergence proved the insufficiency. Empire died. Valdorath did not. Immortality method reconstructed from 4 threads. Archive sealed chamber, lattice and anchoring language, integration of wielder with field at structural level, not rank advancement through ceremony. Demon historical fragment, Keth scholar translation, year 12 packet the human king, who entered the demon deep places and returned wearing the boundary inside his chest, poetic demon idiom, technical content consistent with core merge. Human aura analysis of phantom, human core architecture, demon energy fused at boundary, not worn externally. Order restoration doctrine, proliferation of divergent aura expressions corrected, original unified field restored, reset language, not repair language. Merger kept him alive. Merger transformed him. Neither fully human nor fully demon, category rhymes with Kael's situation, rhyme not identity, Damien's precision useful again. Transformation price, mask as containment per unified era inscription, voice old because body stopped obeying ordinary time, sight without eye holes because perception relocated outside ordinary geometry. Price paid willingly if reconstruction held. Willingly was the part that mattered. Willingly meant goal was chosen, not accident. Chosen goals had architecture. Architecture could be opposed. 300 years preparing for next convergence. Preparation method, reset world to pre-convergent state. Not metaphorical reset, operational reset. Eliminate political fragmentation that founder believed caused first defense failure. Clearing over 3 centuries. Human kingdoms, succession crises, hero corruption, institutional capture, war manufacture, supply chain infiltration, church doctrinal restriction. Demon territories, patient one removal, incursion manufacture, domain lord manipulation, Bethera tooling, consolidation vacuum filled by phantom. Both sides weakened simultaneously until Kareth Center reasserted. Reassertion was not demon civilization's preference. Reassertion was founder's preference wearing demon emperor authority because demon throne was leverage south of seal while order was leverage north. 2 hands. 1 patient. Patient measured in centuries. April 10th Kael wrote reconstruction draft, internal, vault copied, source protected. Valdorath the First survived first convergence. Chose immortality via aura core merge with demon energy, same energy class convergence disrupted. Merger preserved life, altered category. Spent 300 years preparing for next convergence cycle. Method, reset, eliminate political fragmentation, restore unified field conditions founder believes necessary for defense. Order northern clearing and doctrinal preparation. Phantom throne southern consolidation. Patient 1 removal timed for replacement not chaos. Clearing succeeded. Convergence year 16 if cycle holds. Opposition requires different unity model than founders, not political erasure, but field integration without civilization annihilation. He read draft twice. He added final line, he is not wrong about danger. He is wrong about solution. Wrong about solution was strategy beginning. Strategy beginning was not comfort. Comfort was not available. Seraphine read draft April 11th evening, sitting, as requested, tea cold because reading took longer than tea. She said, millions. He said, if reset is literal. She said, it's literal. He said, yes. She said, geography sentence. He said, yes. She said, restoration doctrine. He said, same grammar. She said, Kaelin. He said, not yet. She said, when? He said, when opposition model exists beyond draft sentence. She said, how long? He said, weak. Weak was honest. Honest was insufficient. Insufficient was still answer. She closed draft. She said, Valdorath. He said, yes. She said, phantom. He said, same. She said, us. He said, yes. Long moment. She said, settled. He said, yes. Not naming. Not 3 words. Settled sufficient for room with draft that counted millions. Millions required partnership without invoice. Partnership without invoice was what they had built. Built was past tense incorrectly. Building was present tense correctly. Gareth read sanitized reconstruction summary April 12th, cipher, sharp day, Cain day. Reset. Millions if literal. Convergence year 16. Gareth reply. King Aldrich new category not name. Guard assignment still valid. Wrong century right child. Proceed. Proceed was Gareth's blessing. Blessing was not warmth. Blessing was loyalty continuing when map category exceeded assignment brief. Kael filed it where Gareth files belonged, economical, permanent, not displayed. Damien read public safe summary April 12th, coalition liaison version stripped of founder name, retained convergence timeline and southern consolidation threat. Damien said, reset. Kael said, yes. Damien said, that's genocide dressed as housekeeping. Kael said, yes. Damien pale. Pale was honest. Honest useful. Damien said, can he do it? Kael said, partially already done. Completion requires convergence window and opposition failure. Damien said, opposition. Kael said, us. Others. If we build model in time. Damien said, time. Kael said, weeks. Maybe less. Damien left quiet. Quiet Damien was fear managed, not fear hidden. Hidden fear killed networks. Managed fear fed them. Thus read medical relevant sections April 12th, core interaction risk, convergence field fracture physiology, hybrid signature exposure. She said, your core is anchor model. His is reset model. He said, yes. She said, opposite. He said, yes. She said, encounter. He said, inevitable if arithmetic holds. She said, outcome. He said, unknown. She said, watch it. Third time. Third time was pattern. He said, yes. Carvin Aldous sent April 13th note, unprompted, firewall instinct retired into witness instinct. Additional sealed chamber reference located via your diagram date cluster. Fragment title, on continuity when the field breaks. Body not yet cleared for copy. Header mentions Valdorath administrative signatory. Tell me if you want wait or risk unsealing before climate interval. Kael sent. Wait. Climate interval. Full chain when cleared. Wait was discipline. Discipline was not delay for comfort. Delay for correct copy was intelligence hygiene. Hygiene kept vault trustworthy. Trustworthy vault kept opposition model buildable. Mar called April 13th hour 10, scholar voice restrained, fatigue bright behind it. She said, Aldous found your date cluster before your message arrived. Fragment title confirms administrative signatory. I haven't read body. I don't want to read body without you in the room. He said, climate interval. She said, 2 weeks minimum. He said, wait. She said, good. Pause. She said, the diagram photograph is in vault. I looked once. I sat down after. He said, sitting recommended. She said, yes. Scholars who sat after were scholars worth trusting. Night, April 13th. Kael updated master map final pass spring year 15. Order Valdorath network dismantled notation unchanged. Remnants hidden unchanged. Reform Council green. Southern gold shading replaced with Kerith deep red center. Iron mark gold. Core awakening amber red stable. Partnership layer unlabeled. Settled layer unlabeled. Phantom notation ciphered. Founder hypothesis vault copied. Convergence node added year 16. Unlabeled did not mean absent. Absent would have been easier. Easier was not available. He stood at window hour 21, Seraphine beside him, half-inch proximity, snow gone, spring rain beginning. She said, reset. He said, yes. She said, stop it. He said, yes. 2 words. Not 3. Not naming. Commitment without poetry. Poetry was for courts. She said, how? He said, build different unity. Make fragmentation strength. Prove founder wrong with field evidence, not argument. She said, weak. He said, start tonight. She said, together. He said, yes. Rain continued. Neither stepped back. Map behind linen sheet held diagram with all lines crossing convergence node. Opponent identified. Goal identified. Method identified. Identification was not victory. Identification was prerequisite. Prerequisite complete. Building opposition model began tomorrow. Tonight rain on Valdorath roof. Tonight 19. Tonight partner beside window without invoice. Tonight enough to proceed. Not enough for long. Long was convergence arithmetic. Long was phantom on Kara throne. Long was immortal who chose mask and geography and 300 years patience. Long was job. Same job. Less red, more blue, more amber. Garrett's grammar updated for era. More red, one center now. Center named. Center opposed. Proceed. The first convergence had no poets worth trusting. Kael learned that on April 14th, year 15th, hour 6, with frost on the intelligence center's inner shutters and a folio stack tall enough to cast shadow across half the map table. Mar had sent pre-fragmentation copies through Reform Vault Chain. Veth had sent Demon Court fragments through Koval notation. Gareth had sent 3 pages from the infirmary wing in handwriting that had grown steadier since the cane became permanent. Marginalia from texts he had read before his core burned and could read again because pain was not the same as incapacity. The poets existed. They wrote in the high ceremonial register of unified empire triumph. They described Valdorath's coronation in language that made stone sound like consent. They described the convergence as divine punishment for unspecified moral failure, which was the kind of explanation institutions used when they had lost the technical vocabulary and did not want to admit it. Kael did not read poets first. He read maintenance records. The unified Continental Empire, reconstructed from administrative debris rather than epic verse, had been exactly what Valdorath believed it was: one flag, one legal code, one tax authority. One military command structure stretching from the Ironmark Highlands to the Harith southern passes, with demon territories nominally subordinate through treaty arrangements that demon historians still described, in Veth's translation, as submission performed until it wasn't. Political unity. Complete on paper. The Empire's aura infrastructure told a different story. Mars' transliteration of Eastern Spire records, not the Sovereign's lattice scroll, older companion texts from the same sealed chamber, described continental field architecture in engineer language stripped of ceremony. Regions maintained local resonance profiles. Casting traditions differed by province. Demon border domains carried field signatures incompatible with human urban cores without calibration layers. The Empire had built roads and courts and garrisons. It had not built integration. It had built administration over diversity and called the administration wholeness. Kael laid the administrative map beside the field map and watched the mismatch appear the way mismatches always appeared when you stopped believing the label on the box. Valdorath's empire looked unified. Its aura field looked federated under pressure. The convergence arrived anyway. Year counts in pre-fragmentation sources disagreed by decades. Mar noted the variance without resolving it, because scholars who resolved variance without evidence were poets in worse clothing. The mechanism descriptions did not disagree. Something exterior pushed at the world's field structure through weak points. Not invasion in the military sense. Invasion in the structural sense, pressure finding seams. The Empire's defensive response, as reconstructed from 3 independent source families, had been singular and rational and wrong. Valdorath ordered continental field integration, not cooperation between regions. Integration, every aura-capable structure pulled into a single defensive lattice under imperial command, the way you might try to make one rope from many threads by tying them at the ends and pulling until something tore. Kael read the order language twice. He recognized the instinct. He had spent 8 years building coalitions and had learned, in the expensive way, that coalition was not the same as command. That aligned interest was not the same as merged structure. That people who agreed to fight beside you did not thereby agree to become extensions of your nervous system. Valdorath had not learned that. Or had learned it after. The texts were not clear on sequence. They were clear on outcome. The integration attempt created resistance. Billions of individual aura fields, diverse in type, training, temperament, and centuries of local practice, did not fold into imperial lattice without friction. The friction became weakness. The weakness became the seam the convergence found. The empire collapsed in less than a generation. Not all at once. Collapse rarely was. Provincial governors declared continuity. Demon domains withdrew treaty performance. The legal code fragmented. The military command structure split along loyalty lines that had always existed beneath the flag. What remained of the integrated lattice shattered, not gently, not into independent healthy regions, but into damaged field terrain that took centuries to partially recover. Fragmentation. The word Valdorath had spent 300 years trying to erase. Kael stood at the map wall April 14th hour 9 and placed pins in the sequence the sources demanded. Empire pin, gold, centered on Kareth Old Capital, pre-fragmentation administrative heart, now called something else in demon mouths and avoided in demon feet. Convergence pin, black, no precise coordinate because the event was continental, not local. Collapse pin, red scatter across Ardenbast, not one battle, many fractures. Present pin, blue and green and amber, kingdoms, Reform Council, Coalition Forum, Intelligence Center, Merchant House Stonebox that had stopped being only confinement sometime in year 14. He did not place a pin for Valdorath's error. The error was not a place. It was a category mistake. Political unity mistaken for field unity. Command mistaken for resonance. One flag mistaken for one soul. Seraphine arrived hour 10 with tea and a Reform Council draft she did not set down immediately because her eyes went to the wall first. She said, "You're rebuilding the first convergence." He said, "I'm reading what failed." She said, "Difference." He said, "Rebuilding implies I think I can improve the original structure." She set the draft down. She said, "Can you?" He looked at the gold Kareth pin. He said, "Not his structure." She waited. Waiting was her version of not pushing when pushing would produce performance instead of answer. He said, "He built the wrong unity. He knows it now. Has known it 300 years. His solution is to eliminate the conditions that produce the wrong unity and try again from cleared ground." She said, "Cleared ground. Not question. Inventory." He said, "Political plurality. Independent kingdoms. Demon domain autonomy. Separate casting traditions. Separate institutions. Everything that makes the field federated instead of integrated." She said, "He thinks plurality caused the collapse." He said, "He thinks plurality prevented the integration that would have held." She was quiet long enough for Calder to pass in the corridor outside, boot rhythm, ledger underarm, disaster sergeant duties somewhere in the building, making Lyra's voice audible 2 floors down, complaining about copy stack humidity. Seraphine said, "And the convergence hit a federated field anyway." He said, "After his integration attempt damaged it." She said, "So in his model, fragmentation is both symptom and cause." He said, "In his model, yes." She said, "In your model?" The sovereign core warmed along his sternum, not answer, attention, the quiet lift of something listening when the conversation approached its actual subject. He said, "In my model, I don't have enough field mathematics yet. Honest. Insufficient." She accepted insufficient without comfort language. Warmth in action. She pulled the chair from desk 2, sat, read Mars' transliteration cover note without asking permission because permission between them had become procedural fiction sometime in year 14. Gareth came April 5th when stairs permitted. He read the reconstruction summary in silence. Kane hooked on chair back. Breath measured the way breath was measured when lungs had less reserve than mind. He said, "He built an empire." Kael said, "Yes." Gareth said, "Empires are easy to draw." Kael said, "Fields are harder." Gareth said, "Fields are what break." Not metaphor in Gareth's mouth. Observation from a man whose core had burned out holding a line against something that did not care about rank. Kael said, "Valdorath's error, as he understands it, is that he unified governance without unifying resonance." Gareth said, "And his fix?" Kael said, "Remove governance plurality. Rebuild resonance from 0. Gareth looked at the map pins. He said, 0 is a lot of bodies. Kael said, "Yes." Gareth said, "You going to let him?" Kael said, "No." One word. Enough between them. Gareth left the summary annotated in 3 places. Marginal arrows, no commentary, arrow sufficient. April 6th through 8th, Kael cross-referenced Demon Court fragments against human archive copies and found the same story told in different grief registers. Demon historians called the convergence the pressure. Human pre-fragmentation administrative texts called it the rupture event. Eastern Spire maintenance language called it exterior incursion at lattice failure points. Same event. Same damage. Different moral packaging. Valdorath's post-convergence writings, not his copies of copies, some recovered through Order Vault seizures, some through Veth's Keth domain scholars who had preserved what human kingdoms burned, showed a mind that had correctly diagnosed field damage and incorrectly diagnosed cure. He wrote about unity the way drowning men wrote about shore. Kael did not sympathize with the writing. He recognized the shape of the mistake. He had made smaller versions of it, trying to force compact coordination through single-command fantasy before learning coalition grammar, trying to read Seraphine's political instincts as extensions of his map until learning they were parallel instruments, not subordinate ones. Scale differed. Category did not. April 9th, hour 14, he briefed Seraphine and Calder and Thess in the Intelligence Center's secured room. Reform Council witness outside. Mara available by summons, no brokers, no gallery. He did not perform revelation. He performed sequence. Empire unified politically. Convergence exploited integration resistance. Collapse produced fragmentation. Valdorath concluded fragmentation was the disease. Reset was the treatment. Thess said, treatment kills the patient. He said, in some surgeries, yes. She said, you're not endorsing surgery. He said, I'm endorsing accurate diagnosis of the surgeon. Seraphine said, council language? He said, not yet. Field language first. Strategy second. Council when strategy can survive daylight. She said, timeline. He said, weeks, not months, if Kareth intelligence holds. Calder said, holds. One word. Sergeant verdict. Kael filed it. Night April 9th, he returned to the map wall alone. The first convergence was not myth. It was precedent. Precedent was the kind of history that did not care whether you believed in it before it repeated. Valdorath had built political unity and called it enough. The world had paid. He had spent 300 years building toward a second attempt with different tools and the same categorical error, believing that the field could be made whole by making the world simple. Kael touched the Kareth pin. Gold. Old capital. New throne. He said quietly, to the room, not to the pin, you needed spiritual unity. You had administrative unity. You still don't know the difference. No answer. Answers would come later, in strategy sessions and coalition halls, and probably blood. Tonight he had history with dust on it. Dust was more honest than poetry. He updated the master ledger. He wrote April 9th entry, first convergence reconstructed. Empire political unity insufficient. Integration attempt created weakness. Collapse fragmented field. Valdorath error category. Wrong unity type. Solution category. Eliminate plurality. Rebuild ground up. Opposed. He closed the ledger. Tea had gone cold. He did not reheat it. Some hours did not deserve domestic comfort. He slept 4 hours. Dreamed maps with pins that moved when he wasn't looking. Woke April 10th with frost still on shutters and work still not finished. Enough for the catastrophe. Not enough for the response. The response was the next chapter's problem. He accepted the arithmetic. He always had. Valdorath was not wrong about the danger. Kael wrote that sentence April 11th year 15 at hour 7 and stared at it long enough to know it would make council briefings harder and strategy better. Harder because frightened people wanted villains who were wrong about everything. Better because enemies who were wrong about everything did not survive 300 years wearing a silver mask in Kareth. The convergence was real. The archive said so. The demon court said so. The sovereign's lattice maintenance text said so in language that treated exterior pressure as weather, not moral, not optional, recurring on a scale that made human dynasties look like frost patterns on glass. Fragmentation weakened the continental field. Also true. Not propaganda. Measurable in the way difficult things were measurable when you had 3 source families and a sovereign core that warmed when you approached true descriptions the way it did not warm for poetry. Regional casting instability increased when political conflict severed trade and calibration materials. Border domains carried field scars from wars that had ended decades ago in legal terms and not ended in field terms. Academy research from Solhaven, Valdane's guild had sent copies through merchant route, deniable, expensive, showed aggregate aura coherence, declining along fault lines that matched political fracture maps with uncomfortable precision. Valdorath had read the same evidence. Probably first. Probably when the evidence was fresh and the empire was still smoking. He had concluded, plurality creates seams. Seams invite pressure. Therefore remove plurality. Kael understood the logic the way you understood a siege engine's geometry, clean lines, correct mathematics at each step, catastrophic application at the end. April 11th through 17th, he did not leave the problem at understanding. Understanding was instinct. Instinct was not briefable. Seraphine needed briefable. Kaelin needed briefable. Veth needed briefable in notation that would not get a Koval courier killed. Thess needed briefable in medical field terminology that separated metaphor from measurable harm. Gareth needed 3 sentences and a map. Kael spent the week making instinct into strategy. He started with negation. What Valdoratha's reset would destroy. Not abstract civilization. Specific field assets. 300 years of parallel magic development, lightning refinement in Thornwald Storm Academies, light space synthesis in Valdris noble houses, demon domain fire traditions that human casting theory still mislabeled. Harith sand calibration techniques developed under incursion pressure no northern kingdom had faced in 2 generations. Each tradition a different stress response. Each stress response a different field texture. Remove the traditions and you did not simplify the field. You amputated it. He wrote the list on the southern wall of the intelligence center's secured room. Tradition, region, field contribution, lost category if erased. By April 13th, the wall looked like a ledger of everything worth defending that did not fit on a military map. Seraphine read at hour 22. She said, "You made diversity into inventory." He said, "Inventory is what strategists do with things other people call values." She said, "Values are also real." He said, "Yes. Inventory includes them." Almost smile. Almost. He moved to political understanding. Valdoratha's model treated conflict as pure damage. Conflict was damage. Also curriculum. Kael had 8 years of evidence and 19 years of life, and 1 previous lifetime of reading stories that lied about war. The lies were consistent. Conflict produced only trauma. The truth was Messier. Conflict produced trauma and also produced institutions that knew how to negotiate ceasefires, recognize bad faith, build verification protocols, distinguish peace factions from war factions inside enemy territory, reform councils under kings who meant accountability speeches. None of that existed in Valdoratha's unified empire at full strength. All of it existed in fragmented Ardenbast in damaged, imperfect, currently functioning form. The world's political mind had spent 3 centuries learning conflict resolution because it had to. That learning was field infrastructure, not metaphor. Infrastructure, the way trust between Ironmark and Valdris after ceasefire was not warmth, but a calibration layer between northern and eastern field signatures. Valdorath wanted to delete the curriculum because the curriculum was written in blood. Kael did not romanticize the blood. He accounted for it. April 14th, he articulated the central inversion in language he could say aloud without flinching. Valdorath believed simplicity produced resilience. Evidence suggested complexity produced resilience when complexity was connected rather than merely coexisting. A unified empire imposed from one throne was simple and brittle. A continent of diverse regions with trade routes, treaty verification, shared reform commissions, demon peace factions, intelligence channels, and coalition forums was complex and, if anchored, stronger than any empire Valdorath had built. Not stronger in parade ground terms. Stronger in field terms. The sovereign core warmed when he wrote anchored. Not instruction. Recognition. The week was not solitary. Damien came April 12th, Coalition Liaison, Southern Recovery, Vegetables still independent variable, and listened to the inversion argument without interrupting until Kael finished. Damien said, so he wants to reboot the world because his first save file corrupted. Kael said, that's crude. Damien said, is it wrong? Kael said, no. Damien said, then it's useful. Earnest precision. Kael filed useful. Lyra came April 15th via Thornwald Relay, not in person, letter dense with Storm Academy marginalia and one line in her loud handwriting. If diversity is strength, tell that to the committee that tried to standardize lightning rod spacing across the Confederation and started a duel. He sent back, duel proves my point. Standardization failed. Adaptation continued. She sent, don't get smug. Send strategy. Committees are waiting. Committees were always waiting. April 16th, he tested the strategy against Veth's channel. Notation compact. No poetry. No moral language. Veth would translate as human guilt performance. Valdorath correct. Exterior pressure real. Fragmentation increases weak points. Valdorath error. Reset destroys field complexity that resists pressure. Hypothesis. Resonance through connection of diverse elements superior to integration through elimination of diverse elements. Request. Keth domain field historians challenge or confirm. Response arrived April 17th dawn. Veth's translation of Lord Keth scholar reply. Demon Court records post-first convergence describe field recovery fastest in border domains that maintained exchange with enemy traditions. Slowest in administratively unified provinces that prohibited cross-practice. Hypothesis not rejected. Not confirmation. Not rejection. Enough to proceed. April 17th hour 18, he briefed Seraphine with the completed articulation. She sat. Tea between them. Called her outside. Map wall carrying Empire pin, collapse scatter, and new layer, green threads connecting kingdoms, demon peace territory, trade routes, intelligence channels, reform council nodes. He said, he's not wrong about the danger. She said, I know. He said, he's not wrong that fragmentation weakens the field. She said, I know. He said, he's catastrophically wrong that eliminating 300 years of civilization rebuilds a stronger field than connecting what those years produced. She said, say the last part for council. He said, reset amputates field diversity, political learning, and magical development that collectively constitute continental resilience. Opposing reset is not opposing unity. It is opposing false unity. She wrote it down. Hand study. Decision settling 2 seconds before face followed. She said, Kaelin will accept false unity language. He said, Kaelin will accept true unity language if we provide mechanism. She said, mechanism is coalition. He said, mechanism is coalition plus anchor. She looked at his chest, not obvious, not dramatic, the glance that went where the sovereign core lived without naming it. She said, anchor is you. Not question. Inventory. He said, anchor is the core. I am where it currently interfaces. She said, interface is enough for now. Warmth in action. She did not argue theology. She updated Reform Council draft header to Continental Resilience Framework and moved reset opposition from intelligence classification to political preparation track. Gareth read the one-page summary April 17th evening. He said, twisted logic. Kael said, yes. Gareth said, good word. Kael said, Seraphine will make it worse for diplomats. Gareth said, diplomats need worse words sometimes. Kane tap once. Dismissal and approval combined. Night April 17th. Kael stood at the southern wall inventory, traditions, regions, losses, and felt the week's work settle from instinct into structure. Valdorath's logic was twisted because each step was locally reasonable and globally monstrous. Correct diagnosis of pressure. Correct observation of seams. Incorrect belief that simplicity was cure. Incorrect belief that millions of deaths were acceptable tuition for a second attempt at empire. Kael did not hate him for the twist. Hate was inefficient. He understood the twist. Understanding was the job. The job continued. He wrote weak close summary. Danger real. Fragmentation real. Reset wrong. Complexity connected unity imposed. Strategy articulated. Veth channel hypothesis supported not confirmed. Council language drafted. Coalition mechanism next. He slept 5 hours. No distortion logged. Victory ordinary. Ordinary trusted. April 18th would require turning strategy into letters. Letters required names. Names required the coalition chapter's work. He accepted the handoff. He always had. The diagram covered the eastern wall by April 19th, year 15. Kael had thought, after the Valdorath revelation in the empty room hour 23 April 7th, that understanding the founder would be the largest shock. It was not. The largest shock was fitting the founder into the diagram that already existed. The Order of Eternal Stars was not a conspiracy with a secret king. It was a 300-year maintenance operation run by the king. Every thread Kael and Seraphine had assembled in the command tent 41 hours August year 12, church ecology, noble council infiltration, military appointments, academy placements, Silverlight doctrinal authority. Demon territory manipulation acquired a new center of gravity when you placed Valdorath at the node and stopped pretending the node was absent. The wars were not accidents. The hero corruption was not tragedy. The demon incursions were not weather. The succession crisis was not dynastic misfortune. They were preparation. Weaken kingdoms until centralized response became impossible without external command. Discredit heroes until moral authority could not rally continental field alignment against reset. Centralized demon military capacity under a throne Valdorath could claim. Fracture institutions until only the Order's long patience remained legible as alternative to chaos. Kael stood before the wall April 19th hour 8 and felt the diagram become heavy the way maps became heavy when they stopped showing geography and started showing responsibility. He worked the timeline backward. Not from present to past, from past to present, because Valdorath's operation only made sense as accumulation. Year 0 post-fragmentation, survival, immortality ritual, merger with demon energy, transformation into something that read human on aura inspection and demon on throne protocol. Immediate goal, endure until next convergence cycle. Years 1 to 50, foundation. Church of Light growth as public layer. Philosophical societies incorporating under pre-registry structures. First demon territory contacts not as conqueror, but as patient instructor. Veth's historians used the phrase teacher of despair, which Kael translated as vendor of inevitable solution. Years 50 to 130, expansion. Noble council placements. Military appointment pipeline. Academy archive positioning. Silverlight doctrinal capture in Soul Haven. Demon domain refusal accounts engineered to keep territories unstable enough to need strong central demon authority eventually. Years 130 to 250, acceleration. Ire mark manipulation. Succession crisis cultivation in Valdorath. Hero program. Damien's tragedy not first, not last, template for discrediting symbolic field anchors. Southern incursions time to exhaust frontier defenses and justify emergency powers that weakened legal continuity. Years 250 to 300. Endgame preparation. Order Valdorath network as clearing mechanism inside the kingdom where concentration was highest. Emperor assassination in Demon Court. Phantom mask. Kareth throne. Reset language moving from theological metaphor to operational schedule. 3 centuries. Not a villain's tantrum. A parent's renovation project. Kael said the thought quietly April 19th hour 11 and did not like that he understood it. He's not a villain. He's a failing parent who can't admit the solution he chose is worse than the problem. The intelligence center was empty except Calder sorting courier manifests outside the door and Thess's medical runner collecting core observation log. No audience. No performance. Thought arrived complete. He filed it under danger. Understanding an enemy's humanity did not reduce the enemy's threat. It increased the strategist's obligation. Villains you could dismiss. Parents who believed they were saving children you had to defeat without the comfort of contempt. Seraphine came hour 12. She looked at the wall. She said, "You connected everything." He said, "Everything was already connected. I was missing the hand." She said, "Valdorath." He said, "Yes." She said, "The succession crisis." He said, cultivated. She said, Damien. Pause. Pause had weight when the name was a person they knew. He said, template. Not personal malice. Personal malice would be easier. She said, Ironmark. He said, weapon. Intended to fracture Valdorath and legitimize emergency consolidation. Ceasefire was not in his schedule. We imposed delay. She said, southern incursions. He said, exhaustion mechanism. Frontier attrition reduces field anchors in the regions most likely to resist reset doctrine. She said, church hospitals. She did not say, and schools and courts. She did not need to. He said, legitimacy layer. Makes opposition look like ingratitude. She said, and the order network in Valdorath? He said, local clearing. Remove the institutions we rebuilt so reset arrives into rubble that looks like proof fragmentation failed. She sat. Chair scrape quiet. She said, how long have you known it was one operation? He said, structure since year 1210. Founder since April 7th. Full integration since this morning. She said, April 7th was 2 weeks. He said, 2 weeks to sit with founder arithmetic. 1 morning to place the hand. She said, that's fast. He said, that's late. Mirror sentence. Older grammar. She accepted late without comfort. Damien came April 20th. He read the wall with the stillness of a man who had learned that stillness was the only way to keep gold aura from discharging into walls. He said, the hero program. Kael said, yes. Damien said, me. Kael said, you specifically was chance. Program specifically was not. Damien said, they wanted me broken. Kael said, they wanted the idea of you broken. Damien looked at the timeline pin marking hero corruption template. He said, they did break the idea. Kael said, they didn't break you. Silence. Damien said, close enough for government work. Almost joke. Almost not. Kael did not fix the sentence. Fixing would be performance. Damien said, he's been planning since before my grandparents were born. Kael said, yes. Damien said, and we're 19 and 21. Kael said, yes. Damien said, good briefing. He left. Vegetables independent variable. Grief independent variable. Fight still chosen. Kael filed Damien under still protecting people, still himself, still in coalition. Gareth came April 21st. He looked at the wall longer than he looked at most maps. He said, 300 years. Kael said, yes. Gareth said, we had 8. Kael said, yes. Gareth said, arithmetic unfriendly. Kael said, arithmetic doesn't negotiate. Gareth tapped the pin marking order founding. He said, this is why I burned out. Not complaint. Connection. Kael said, you held a line against a fraction. Gareth said, fraction was enough. Cane hook on chair. He said, don't romanticize the parent sentence. Kael said, I won't. Gareth said, you'll remember it anyway. Kael said, yes. Gareth left. Advice delivered as prediction. Prediction accurate. April 22nd. Kael encrypted the integrated diagram for Coalition Core only Seraphine, Kaelin, Ves, Calder, Veth channel, Gareth eyes only copy. He did not send to Council. Council would leak. Council would panic. Council would produce poets. Coalition Core needed truth. Truth needed containment. Containment was not secrecy for its own sake. Containment was operational discipline. Night April 22nd, he stood at the wall alone. 300 years of wars and corrupted heroes and demon blood and succession rot, all serving one man's inability to accept that his first cure had been worse than his first disease. The convergence would come again. Valdorath was not wrong about that. The world's damage was real. The seams were real. The parents' love, if you could call it love, was real in the way obsession was real. Total, sincere, lethal. Kael did not forgive it. Forgiveness was not required for strategy. He needed to see it clearly. Seeing clearly meant admitting the enemy had built the board he was playing on. Every piece. Every scar. Every institution he had spent 8 years repairing inside a machine designed to make repair look futile. Futile was the goal. Futile justified reset. He touched the Kareth pin. Gold. Old capital. He said to the empty room, "You prepared the world to need you." No answer. He said, "We don't." Softer. Not less certain. Certain in the way engineers were certain when the structure held under test load. The sovereign core warmed quiet, attentive, not approval presence. Partnership settled layer underneath. Unlabeled. Functioning. April 23rd would be letters. Letters would be coalition. Coalition would be survival. He updated master ledger. He wrote, "Operation integrated. 300-year preparation confirmed. Wars, hero program, incursions, succession, Valdorath mechanism. Parent metaphor filed not indulged. Next, continental outreach." He slept 4 hours. Dreamed a mask without eye holes that saw anyway. Woke with frost on shutters and work waiting. Enough for everything connected. Not enough for everyone assembled. Assembly was next. He accepted the handoff. He always had. Continental coalitions were built in months, when the months were already burning. Kael wrote that on the outreach ledger May 23rd year 15:06 and began sending letters before the ink on the header dried. The coalition was not a hope. It was a deadline. Valdorath had 300 years of preparation. Kael had weeks of trust accumulated at enormous cost, and as strategists understanding that trust did not scale by proclamation, only by specific promises to specific people with specific mechanisms for verifying those promises. He made a list. Kael and I, Valdorath's kingdom, committed. Not theoretical commitment. Operational. May 23rd hour 9 Kael met Kaelin in the Reform Council's secondary chamber, not throne room, not ceremony, 8 chairs and a map table Kaelin had requested because he governed better when furniture admitted work existed. Kaelin read the integrated diagram summary. He said, "The order built my brother's crisis." Kael said, "Partially built. You and your allies finished the refusal." Kaelin said, "Comforting. Not sincere comfort request. Inventory of guilt distribution." Kael said, "Valdorath commits army, Reform Council intelligence sharing, legal framework for coalition authority under emergency charter extension." Kaelin said, "How many?" Kael said, 80,000 if mobilization is full. 60 if council politics trim." Kaelin said, "You'll get 70. Kael said, "I'll plan for 65 and be grateful for 70. Kaelin almost smiled. Almost. He said, "Seraphine handles the charter language." Kael said, "Yes." Kaelin said, "You handle everything that bleeds." Kael said, "Yes." Kaelin signed the commitment memo before tea arrived. Warmth in action. He did not ask for another week to consult poets. Veth, Demon Peace Faction committed. May 23rd hour 14 Koval channel notation out. Reset threatens Keth domain autonomy and all non-Vethra survival. Peace Faction commits intelligence and field fighters. Request Human Coalition recognize territorial autonomy in pre-battle agreement. Valdorath Army estimate incoming separate packet. Response May 24th dawn. Veth, committed. Autonomy language required before fighters cross northern demon border. Lord Keth adds, Phantom Emperor is not demon culture. Is project. Demon culture will not mourn him. Kael sent. Autonomy language drafted. Seraphine holds pen. Veth sent. Good. Pen sharper than sword sometimes. Kael filed sharper. Ironmark, Marshal Commander Aldrich Harn, complicated. Complicated was not no. Complicated was price. May 24th Kael sent message through ceasefire verification channel. The same corridor Ironmark and Valdorath had used for 512 days of uneasy quiet, routed through Harn's liaison officer, not the Emperor's court poets. Message content. Continental field threat exceeds Valdorath Ironmark bilateral frame. Request Harn private counsel. Topic. Mutual survival. Not expansion. Reply May 25th. Harn will receive. Location neutral corridor post 7. Window 48 hours. Bring someone who can sign without bleeding. Seraphine could sign. Kaelin had authorized. Kael took Calder and met Harn May 26th at a stone pavilion built for ceasefire talks and still smelling of winter mud. Harn looked older than the war years had excuse to make him, pragmatic eyes, Ironmark uniform without parade polish, The face of a man who had suspected his emperor was played and had been proven right and did not enjoy vindication. Harn said, "You Valdorath Reform Coalition." Kael said, "Continental Coalition forming." Valdorath is one node. Harn said, "Demon Emperor Human." Kael said, "Yes." Harn said, "Order Founder." Kael said, "Yes." Harn said, "Proof." Kael placed packet, source protected summary, not full wall diagram, enough chain to survive skepticism. Harn read 20 minutes. Snow melted on his boot heels. He said, "Ire mark was weapon." Kael said, "Yes." Harn said, "Ceasefire was not their plan." Kael said, "No." Harn said, "My emperor wants distance from humiliation." Kael said, "Distance is available if Ire mark contributes soldiers to something larger than Valdorath's grudge." Harn said, "How many soldiers buys distance?" Kael said, 40,000 buys respect. 30 buys tolerance. Below 25 I plan without you." Harn looked at him, assessment, not offense. Harn said, 35. Marshal Commander Personal Command of Northern Flank. No Valdorath officer above me on Ire mark troops. Kael said, accepted. Harn said, complicated. Kael said, yes. Harn said, not no. Kael said, no. Handshake. Cold. Binding. Sohaven Republic, Consul Mira Valdane. Trade survival. Valdane did not meet in person. Valdane never met in person when deniability was a currency worth more than courtesy. May 26th, encrypted guild packet arrived through Sohaven merchant route. Intelligence guild header, no flourish. Trade dies if continent resets to pre-fragmentation trade geography. Sohaven commits naval escort and 22,000 Republic Guard if coalition guarantees merchant corridor autonomy through war and after. Price. Intelligence sharing parity and no Valdorath tariff retaliation for guild neutrality during Valdorath's succession years. Kael sent. Parity accepted. Tariff retaliation suspended by Kaelin memo attached. Corridor autonomy language to Seraphine. Valdane sent. Fast. Suspicious. Continue. Almost humor. Guild humor. Commitment secured. Thornwald Confederation. Lyra's family channel. Lyra's letter had arrived May 24th with Storm Academy seal and House Stormwind secondary estate notation. Committee chaos. Mother says Confederation won't follow Valdorath King without Thornwald Council vote. Father says Council votes yes if someone asks correctly. I am asking correctly. Send formal request to Stormwind not committee. Send it to my mother. Do not use the word unity. Use the word weather. Kael sent formal request May 25th. Exterior field pressure threatens western storm calibration corridors to Lady Alice Stormwind, Lyra's mother, with copy to Confederation military coordinator. Reply May 27th. Thornwald commits 18,000 and Lightning Corps coordination. Lyra says tell Kael committee's still terrible. Mother says tell Kael thank you for asking correctly. Kael sent Lyra. Correct asking noted. Committee's eternal. She sent. Fight well. Standardize nothing. Harith Sultanate, Sultan Yerrick III, immediately committed. Yerrick did not negotiate length. Harith had been suffering longest, southern incursions, field scars, trade disruption, the continent's forgotten shield rhetoric made literal in bodies and burned villages. May 23rd hour 22, before Harn meeting, before Valdane reply, before Thornwald vote, Harith courier arrived with Sultan seal and 1 page. Yerrick commits 40,000 and Southern field calibration teams. Harith has no interest in reset theology. Harith has interest in not dying for Northern Kingdom's late realization. Arrival schedule attached. Do not insult us with delay. Kael sent. Insult avoided. Gratitude inadequate. Schedule accepted. Seraphine read Yerrick's page. She said, immediately committed. He said, suffering longest. She said, we should have reached earlier. He said, we reach now. Not apology. Arithmetic. May 27th through 31st the outreach ledger filled. Secondary commitments. Bright's reformed Silverlight detachments, Torrens merchant militia, Frontier compact remnants formalized under coalition charter, Koval intelligence routing expanded, Thess medical corps attached to field hospital protocol. Not every letter succeeded. 2 minor kingdoms sent observers only. 1 duke sent excuses. Excuses filed. Plan adjusted. Kael did not require universal love. He required sufficient mass. Seraphine handled autonomy language, demon peace territories, Soulhaven corridors, Ironmark command separation, Thornwald committee ratification, Hareth southern priority supply. In 4 days of draft iterations that made Calder's perimeter look relaxed. Kael watched her work May 29th evening from gallery rail. Not supervision, admiration filed without announcement. 6 different political cultures. 6 different fears. 1 document architecture that let each signatory believe their concerns were structural, not decorative. She did not perform exhaustion. She performed precision. Precision was how she performed exhaustion without asking anyone to carry it. Night May 31st, Kael updated outreach ledger totals in the intelligence center's lamplight. Snow on the courtyard stones outside, Calder's bootsteps fading toward the stairwell. The building settling into the particular quiet of a place that had spent the week becoming a switchboard for survival. Valdorath, 70 committed. Ironmark, 35 complicated. Soulhaven, 22. Thornwald, 18. Hareth, 40. Demon Peace Faction, estimate 45 through Veth. Frontier and Secondary, 30. Total approximate, 260 before full mobilization surge. Not enough. Surge capacity to 350 required coalition assembly and joint command structure, Seraphine's diplomatic hall, Kael's military map. Enough for outreach complete. Not enough for army. Army was next chapter. He wrote, Kaelin committed. Veth committed. Harn complicated secured. Valdane trade survival secured. Thornwald via Lyra secured. Yerrick immediate. Secondary attachments partial. Assembly scheduled June. He slept 5 hours. Courier pigeons restless in courtyard. Coalition becoming real. Real was frightening. Frightening was not optional. He accepted June. He always had. The coalition assembled in Valdorath June 8th through 14th year 15 because Valdorath was where the Reform Council could host without pretending neutrality and because Kareth was 3 weeks south and time had become a commodity traded in days. The Merchant House Great Hall had hosted monthly coalition forums through year 14. This was not a forum. This was the first time in 300 years that every major Ardenvast kingdom and the Demon Peace faction sat in the same room with mutual military commitments on paper and mutual suspicion in posture. Kael watched from the military coordination balcony June 8th hour 10 while Seraphine opened the hall below. She did not begin with unity language. She began with weather. Lyra's mother had been correct. Exterior pressure. Field seams. Reset operational schedule. Survival arithmetic. Delegates listened because survival arithmetic was the one sermon every kingdom had earned the right to understand in its own accent. Kaelin spoke second, brief, accountable, no royal expansion metaphors. He deferred charter ratification language to Seraphine without performing deference. Kael noted it from the balcony, the most generous political act he had observed in 19 years of life. Kaelin had become a king who could share stage without shrinking. Harn spoke third, Ironmark northern flank commitment, separation of command, ceasefire extension into coalition context. Complicated delivered as fact. Valdane's proxy spoke fourth, guild corridors, naval escort, intelligence parity. Trade survival dressed as continental citizenship. Lady Alice Stormwind spoke for Thornwald, Lightning Corps, storm calibration teams, committee vote ratified, daughter sends regards and insult about committees. Quiet laugh in hall. Laugh useful. Yerrick's general spoke for Hareth 40,000, southern priority, no patience for northern delay rhetoric. Applause from southern delegates. Applause not ceremony. Relief. Veth's human language envoy spoke last among principals. Peace faction autonomy language read aloud in full before signature request. Hall silent during autonomy clauses. Silence was negotiation residue settling. Seraphine held pen. Hall held breath. Signatures began. Kael's work did not happen in the hall. It happened in the intelligence center's expanded upper floor, military coordination room, Maps wall-to-wall, courier lanes marked in colors that meant arrival schedules, not political allegiance. June 8th through 14th, he did not sleep enough. Thus said so. He ignored her with mutual professionalism. Called her enforced food. Lyra arrived June 9th, disaster sergeant title and all, enforced copy stack humidity and morale through insult. Gareth Saturday June 10th when stairs permitted and looked at troop disposition pins. He said, less poetry, more logistics. Kael said, yes. Gareth said, good. Military coordination was translation. Valdorath army units spoke Reform Council mobilization codes. Ironmark spoke Northern Flank separation codes. Solhaven spoke naval escort timetables tied to trade corridor vulnerability indices. Thornwald spoke Lightning Core weather dependency windows. Hareth spoke Southern march routes that did not treat desert calibration teams as optional ornament. Demon Peace faction spoke domain autonomy boundaries that human mapmakers had historically drawn wrong on purpose. Kael translated into joint command grammar, not single hierarchy, coordinated nervous system. Each force retained commander. Each commander received sector assignment, supply priority, intelligence share tier, and escalation protocol that did not require Valdorath's royal permission for local tactical response. Seraphine had built the political architecture that made joint command legal. Kael built the military architecture that made joint command survivable. Partnership visible in function. Not labeled. Sufficient. June 11th hour 15 first full strength estimate landed. Valdorath's mobilization surge, 72,000. Ironmark, 34,000. Harn delivered 1,000 above floor without comment. Solhaven guard and escort detachments, 21,000. Thornwald, 17,000. Weather window cost 1,000 delay. Hareth, 41,000. Yerrick sent more than promise because suffering kingdoms did not round down. Demon Peace faction through Veth, 43,000 field fighters, intelligence assets separate. Frontier compact, Silverlight reformed detachments, merchant militia, secondary kingdom contributions, 38,000. Total, approximately 346,000. Kael rounded to 350 for planning because rounding up was how strategists apologized to reality for optimism. Valdorath Army estimate through Veth/Koval channel, updated June 12th, 200,000 demon fighters under centralized Phantom command, discipline anomalous for demon culture, supply lines from Kareth old capital infrastructure revived. Human order adherence, unknown. Unknown was the word that made Calder's jaw tighten. Order remnants hidden in crest gray channels, chapel endowments, proxy names rotated, not gone, not quantified. Kael planned 2 corridors for unknown, suicide squads and field mages integrated into Demon Line. He did not share the full unknown assessment with Coalition Hall. He shared it with Seraphine hour 22 June 12th. She said, unknown human count. He said, yes. She said, planning assumption? He said, 30 to 50,000 if mobilization is full. 15 if remnants stay covert. She said, use 40 for diplomacy. Use 50 for us. Mirrored discipline. He said, yes. June 13th Joint Command Structure ratified. Seraphine. Political Center. Delegate Mediation. Charter Enforcement. Autonomy Language Guardian. Kaelin. Valdorath Sovereign Authority. Reform Council Liaison. Legal emergency powers without expansion rhetoric. Harn. Northern Flank Supreme Command Ironmark Forces. Yerrick's General. Southern Field Coordination Hareth and Allied Southern Kingdoms. Valdane Proxy. Naval and Corridor Security. Lady Stormwind. Western Weather-Dependent Course Scheduling. Veth Envoy. Demon Peace Faction Liaison. Autonomy Verification, not Subordination. Kael. Continental Military Coordination. Sector Assignment. Intelligence Fusion. Escalation Routing. Title he had not asked for. Title Hall accepted because everyone in the room had seen the maps on the upper floor and understood that someone had to think in all sectors simultaneously or the coalition would become 6 armies sharing a battlefield the way cats shared a wall. The Sovereign's eye was not yet Saint Range. It was still enough to make coordination credible at distances other commanders could not hold in one mind. He did not explain that in Hall. He demonstrated it June 13th afternoon in rehearsal exercise, simulated demon thrust at border seam. 3 kingdoms responding with conflicting initial orders. Kael's routing corrections delivered through command chain in under 4 minutes. Harn watched. Harn said, uncomfortable. Kael said, yes. Harn said, useful. Kael filed useful. June 14th closing session. Seraphine did not declare victory. She declared assembly complete. Charter signed. Troop estimates on record. March south scheduled. Delegates departed with copies and escorts and the particular exhaustion of people who had been persuaded to act in concert without being persuaded to trust each other completely. Complete trust was not available. Concert was. Damien found Kael on balcony June 14th hour 19, snow again, weak sun, coalition banners muted winter, hall emptying below. Damien said, 350,000. Kael said, approximately. Damien said, 200,000 demons plus unknown humans. Kael said, yes. Damien said, bad odds. Kael said, better than 0 odds. Damien said, low bar. Kael said, yes. Damien said, I'm still in. Kael said, I know. Damien left. Evidence filed again. World not entirely awful. Gareth June 14th evening, last visit before March prep consumed stairs tolerance. He looked at master map, coalition blue-green mass south-oriented, Kareth gold-red opposing, unknown human gray dotted. He said, first time 300 years. Kael said, yes. Gareth said, don't waste it. Kael said, I won't. Gareth said, Seraphine held hall. Kael said, yes. Gareth said, you held map. Kael said, yes. Gareth said, together. Not question. Observation. Kael did not redirect. Redirect would have been cowardice dressed as strategy. He said, yes. Gareth left. One word echoed. Seraphine joined balcony hour 21. 2 people taking break between binders, grammar older than year 14 snow window. She said, assembly complete. He said, yes. She said, March. He said, 3 weeks to Kareth border. Less if weather cooperates. She said, Valdorath. He said, waiting. She said, unknown humans? He said, 40 diplomacy. 50s. She said, good. 1 word. Enough. Snow continued. Neither stepped back from rail. Half-inch proximity tolerance held. Register soft. Precision intact. Night June 14th Kael stood at master map alone after she left. 350,000 against 200,000 plus unknown. Numbers were not destiny. Numbers were material. Material could be misallocated. Misallocation was where battles were lost by people who had counted correctly and thought counting was thinking. He would think. He would coordinate. He would march. Saint was not yet. Work was now. Coalition was assembled. First time in 300 years. Weight of that did not dramatize itself. Weight settled into pins and ledgers and courier schedules the way weight always settled when Kael had no time for poetry. He updated master ledger. He wrote June 14th close, Continental Coalition assembled. Seraphine diplomatic architecture. Kael military coordination. 350k coalition. 200k demon unknown order humans. March south scheduled. Kareth border target. Partnership function sufficient. He did not write arc name. Arcs were for readers. Life was maps. Maps updated. He slept 4 hours. Distortion none logged. Victory ordinary. Ordinary trusted. March would bring clash. Clash would bring breakthrough not yet earned. Tonight coalition existed on paper and in hall and in pins. Existence was enough for June 14th. Not enough for long. Building continued. Same hands. Less red. More blue. Amber proceeding. Enough for tonight. Enough for a long while.